I don't shake anymore because I've already gone through experience. I can't, wait, let me just say hi first. Okay, so hi, welcome back to Comic Book Karaoke. This is episode 3, LGBT representation. We are flying we're flying with pride, I say, in this episode as we go and explore different aspects of the LGBT community within the comic book multiverse, right? So once again, as you know, Comic Book Karaoke is all about the reinterpretation of conversations that we of the geekdom culture have been having for many decades, but obviously because we live in a different climate, a different space, a different time, different people, everything around us changes the way that we see and we move on with how we're going to grow, if we do at all, within the space of geekdom. Okay, so today, it's a little bit of a special edition. I'm actually going to just go right into the introduction where I start off my road to transformation into poison ivy. Full drag, man, full drag. Disclaimer, we go out in public. Kylie Cox is she's my, what do they call, I watched RuPaul so much, She's my drag mother. Officially, she's my drag mother. First time I ever did drag, never, ever, ever will do it again. Only because within 20 minutes, I promise you, 20 minutes of wearing heels in public, Chris is falling down. Needs people to I was a drama queen about that, not never a drag queen. But people actually had to carry me back to the car. I just couldn't make it, for real. Anyway, but you'll see all the footage. You'll see that I'm not a good actor. That was for real. And let's just get into that. Let's get into that right now. Welcome to Comic Book Karaoke. You are still with episode 3. This is basically us walking with pride. My name is Chris Jordan, and I am on site here at Kylie Cox's place, where I'm ready for what I've been excited for quite a long time, but because the nature of who I am, I'm quite scared, petrified of the transformation that I'm going to be making thanks to Kylie Cox and all her magnificent, fantastica, as I like to say, Latina fantastica experience and absolute talent to transform me into poison ivy. Now, this isn't one of those things where it's like a kind of like a Halloween thing. I get dressed up for the day, I have fun, and that type of thing. I know I'm literally going to be doing that, but I have very little to no knowledge about the drag queen or the drag art culture, as well as just the entire I would suppose the entire process, the culture behind it, and the community, and where that is going. It fits right in with our LGBTQI representation, a walk with pride right here within pop culture on Comic Book Karaoke. So what I'm going to do is, we are here, we're going to knock on the door. I want to make sure that you see me, because I know you've seen me in other episodes and everywhere else, as I'm going to really kind of beef that up. And I must say, when I woke up this morning, the one thing that I was so terrified for was the tuck. Okay, I was told I was going to be given kind of a free pass, which I have no idea what that is, but then that was retracted, kind of like most things in South Africa. So anyway, we're going to go in and we're going to say hi to Kylie, and then we'll get started with the transformation. This is going to be cool. Hey.
Oh. Hey. Is this recorded? You caught me with my hair off. It's on the washing line.
Me too, but mine just went when I was 20. Anyway, so okay.
Come in, darling. Come in. Welcome.
Are we doing this as a Blair Witch Project shot first, obviously?
Oh my word. So I'm going to look like I have arthritis.
Wow. I was referring to basically how frightening this experience is.
Oh, darling, relax.
You see, when someone says to you, relax, and you just say, well, do I have enough Valium? Do I have enough alcohol? Do I have enough? Well, okay. What is it? What does RuPaul say? Oh!
I
No.
just had to, darling. I just had to.
Okay, so we're in the house. Thank you for obviously having us within your space, and
It's
really
an absolute pleasure,
you look
darling.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And can you like just show us like you've been busy at this for?
Drag I've been doing for about 13 years now.
Yeah. And this took this.
This whole ensemble took about 4 hours.
Okay, we're going to talk to Kylie, of course, as we go through the transformation today. I've been told it's a couple of hours too, and when I think about a couple of hours, I do not think about sex. I do definitely think about like just sitting on my ass and watching some good old cartoons. So let's see how this goes and pans out. Thank you again. Let's see transformation. Okay, so as you can see, the transformation process has begun. And we are still in Blair Witch Project mode, which I love. I love reality TV like this, you know. The film crew will have the more, am I going to say cleaner, polished shots, but this is where we introduce is alter ego unfair to say? Like the alter ego of Kylie Cox?
That's a very valid point, actually. Because technically, the minute one's dressed up like this, you automatically become this other, this alter ego, so to speak. You know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A man can get away with so much in a dress.
Really? Tell me, like what?
You can,
without sounding so ignorant, I'm really wondering.
You can just get away with saying things and doing things that you would never normally do.
If a man, so give me an example of if a man had said a particular something that you would say in drag, like what would that be?
If I'm at a bar, for example, and I want you to buy me a drink, I'd say, darling, my mouth is dry, so please help me out.
Oh, we have to toast, like, we have a duck noise. We have a duck noise for that. It went quack. No. Okay, I understand that. That type of wit is, you're born with it, obviously. What if you are a drag queen without wit? Is it a disaster?
Instagram, darling, Instagram. It's a face and nothing else.
So what is it that you geek out for?
Makeup.
Tell us about that you've been doing it for, I estimated 12 years. I've known you for 1 year.
Yeah. Well, makeup, I've been qualified for, as a professional makeup artist, for about 16 years now. Actually.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
And
hairdresser for 15.
Right.
That's why I said it's on the washing line, darling. And drag in general. That's on camera anyway. Feel there, darling. Give it a squeeze.
If there was to be a drag, I'm sure there is. There are drag superheroes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And transgender, but let's go drag. We're talking drag.
Yes.
Let's go drag. So there are superheroes out there, not a lot that are at all well known. Mm-hmm. What would you imagine her origin story to be? Keeping in mind pop culture is a representation of radical change that should come in the almost immediate or near future. So what would you like to see represented in comic book pop culture if we had a super drag queen?
Specifically now, South Africa?
No, anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
It's a very difficult question to answer because our community in general is so diverse. There's so many...
The drag community.
Yes,
sure.
Even in the drag community, there's so many subcultures. To give you an idea, I consider myself a theatre queen. Mm-hmm. I am not a club queen.
Sure.
If I fall into the splits, darling, you better come pick me up because I want to get out of it. I'm not that type of drag queen.
Okay.
And I'm not a pageant queen either.
Okay.
I'm the theatre one. I can do a bit of club and a bit of pageant.
So let's say she needs to embody the ethos of what drag culture needs to represent. Do you understand? So we have a superhero. She's a superheroine. She fights whatever cause she feels the need to against villains and so on. And you know how it is. And she goes through her own personal struggles. But what should she embody? Name 3 things. Besides charisma, what is it?
Uniqueness, nerve, and talent, yes. I would definitely say understanding, because there is so much judgment in the community.
We'll get to that later, definitely.
So I would definitely say that one of the biggest things this person needs to embody is understanding and sympathy, you know, that for everyone, because the community is so diverse, you know, and we all have opinions. Secondly, I would say,
I mean, she's a heroine. She would do that. She would like to fight for that and strive for that. You know, equality and tolerance is pretty much what I find was the narrative across speaking to, you know, when we spoke about diversity, women representation, the kind of the intoxicated nature of the fandom culture, you know, even within our local sphere, you know, the kind of camaraderie that we'd expect from, like, you know, creators and whatever, it doesn't exist, because tolerance is not a thing that happens in the 2020s.
correct.
So she'd come out, she'd do her best, you know what I'm saying, in that. What else? Something about the kids. That's something we'll definitely get into.
Yes, that's a whole other can of worms now,
Okay.
with the young generation.
Give me one. Give me one. So let's say it's Kylie Cox, Miss Marvelous Cox.
One of the other things that I think is that she would need to strive for or embody is a political vision, because that's one of the things that we have lost in the past couple of years. I mean, if you look at our drag history, prior 1994, you know, the gay community itself was highly influential in the 1994 votes. That's how the gay rights got written in the memorandum.
Sure.
It was because we fought for it, and each political party at the time,
Right.
you know, had to write up their equality speech, so to speak.
Okay.
You know, and so I feel that this person should embody a political view as well, because even though we've come so far, we're far from where we need to be still.
True.
Mr. Kirby, why do you think your artwork is so popular?
My artwork is popular because it connects with the ordinary person, and they can understand it very easily. And I've always meant it to be so. I've never confined my art to a particular section of humanity. I love people in general. My art reflects it, and that's the way it's always been. Well, the Fantastic Four was another team adventure, and it gave me a chance to draw teenagers once more. And of course, Reed Richards was their mentor, and the characters and I had a wonderful time. I put them through all kinds of adventures. They were spectacular characters. Reed Richards could stretch himself for a mile, and the characters themselves would create the situations, and it was a kind of a series that became a classic in the field. Captain America is a product of his time. At that time, we were on the brink of war. Hitler was grabbing everything in sight. And Captain America just had to come into being because patriotic fervor was everywhere. And so Captain America became the symbol of everything that was happening in America. And of course, I had Captain America beating up on Hitler on the covers of the comic magazines, and Captain America breaking into Nazi strongholds. And he did those daring things which Americans dreamt of doing and were on the brink of doing, but we were still biding our time. And of course, the war finally happened, and Captain America still blossomed, still sold, and became the symbol of what America stood for.
Okay, so you are still with Comic Book Karaoke. The up is not part of the title, just somewhere put that in there. Right now, my name is Chris Jordan, and soon to be Poison Ivy. I know you can see the transformation there. Isn't Kylie like the best ever? Right now, I know you've only seen me with a little bit of the makeup on. Maybe you've tried on the predecessors, and you'll see the full transformation happen in just a bit. Hold on, just a little bit longer. Okay, we're going to switch over to a conversation with Waseem, who is quite a spectacular star when it comes to the podcasting space. So the Roti Riot is a really great social conversation that Waseem has run on Apple for I think over a year. But his Wonderful Words podcast has hit, and it's kind of like trended in the top 200 on Apple iTunes. That's a massive feat. And he is someone that I've known for a couple of years right now. Waseem and I get into the conversation, and it's a heated one because I really stand on the one side and he stands kind of on the other of LGBT representation within comic book culture. Give you a little bit of a tease as to why it is that we kind of butted heads, is because being LGBT is a sexual orientation first. Kind of trying to kind of place that into a kid's mindset of understanding who's reading a comic or watching, I don't know, like a cartoon on TV. Like, for example, Fury Princess of Power came out. There was a number of obviously same-sex relationships and characters that were in there. There's a lot of conversations that need to happen, or should they happen at all, to I would say like an 11-year-old, like let's say 9 to 11 years old. I don't know. We got to consensus on a number of points, but this is how it went.
Waseem, I would like to welcome you to Comic Book Karaoke. Thank you. This is the LGBT version or episode. Yeah, well, version, episode, whatever it may be. It's not issue 149,000 or whatever it may be. This is literally just it's one of a kind. The thing is that you started to go into this media field, and what is kind of accentuated here is about being the first openly gay Muslim radio presenter of Indian descent in South African history post-apartheid. Why do you feel like that was like it's an important? Why is that an important thing to state on your? Is this a Z card, like your Z card? You know, why do you think it's important to state that specifically?
Because because homophobia is so deeply present within the Indian and the Muslim communities, and we do have, yes, there are queer people of those identities working in the entertainment industry, but they often can't be very vocal about those identities because it hurts their career. Homophobia is present there, and also a lot of their support comes from the communities itself. A lot of Indian, personalities get support from the Indian community. A lot of Muslim personalities get support from the Muslim community. So the moment you say, I'm a gay Muslim person, it automatically becomes, oh no, there's a lot of hatred that comes your way, kind of thing.
To anyone that's watching this and is part of our community and our family, so why it's exhausting is that 50% of your attention has to be always on how you now are covering up. So you can never be the best version of yourself. I'm saying, let's say practically, and in terms of the outputs that you give to people, your work, your profession, whatever it is, even as a person, like I can't be the best version of myself. The whole thing is really about you will not be. Why do it? You're already going to be tired from a day's work, from a week's work, from personal issues, and it really is that whole thing of like, I don't have to actually. It was again, I'd say a straight. It's almost like saying my black friend, but a straight friend of mine said that he said to me, like, no one, when I was working in commercial radio, he said to me, do you know that nobody cares? Nobody here. They don't care enough about you to care about that. Okay, so great. I wanted to obviously just make that clear so that people also know it is important to make the disclaimer a lot of the time, because we see that and a lot of the narrative within obviously comic books. You are a comic book lover. This is exactly why you're also here. So I've got the perfect blend of, I'm saying, to someone that is quite like active within the community and about the narrative, but also, is a comic book lover. When you say a comic book lover, we are also in different sects. There's very, very different sects, okay, of the whole geek world, universe, I would say.
I liked the version of She-Ra within the red tape that it was created.
I was going to say,
even Korra was really nice, but obviously they only gave us that LGBT reveal right at the end, which obviously again was within that. Okay. Within that, sorry,
season 3.
But it's been out for such a long time,
I'm overreacting. I don't mind. I love spoilers. I am a certain type of person. You can tell me. That's cool. That's cool.
But the thing is, dude, the embargo on Korra ended a long time ago. So I'm sorry, but I'm saying like. No, but I'm saying like when you get to the end, maybe my words will come back to you, but I just feel like there's so many constraints around that. But I just feel like at the moment, I haven't come across, outside of She-Ra, which is very limited, I haven't come across any LGBT focused show. And even if there is, what I've noticed in particular when it comes to media is that every time they want to approach an LGBT show, they leave out the entire rainbow of people, and it's generally the same-sex couple, the safest same-sex couple they'll always tackle is a lesbian story. And I'm not hating, I think it's great, but there's other sexualities that exist as well, so I haven't come across anything that impressed me or that I love.
What I want to say also, just in terms of that narrative, is that to be able to so you said there, it is, because it really is. I mean, we've seen commercially, once again, the whole it's a focus on the lesbian Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy as well, which was celebrated. I mean, we love that as well. It is quite easy to quote unquote accept, I say, when you try to digest something, I suppose, kind of the introduction, and I want to actually talk about that just a little bit later. It's actually called queer coding, where the illustrated storytellers actually try to experiment with these storylines, and that's been happening for many decades actually, where they try to insinuate, like in She-Ra, I'm sorry, that was insinuated that her and Catra are, more so a couple, because we had so many LGBT couples within there and characters, but to put the main characters, you understand. And I'm going to play obviously devil's advocate, where I say, like, is that, you see, because that's a clear message that's being said. You're not ready for, you know what I'm saying to you. And
Yeah.
a lot of the discussion comes around, you know, and again, I say the balance and maybe obviously the conflict comes around what kids, when I say kids, I'll explain in a moment, kids are exposed to. But what are we talking about? What age? What age is a kid to you? So they can read these comics, that they can watch these programs, that they can, you understand? Yeah.
Anyway, we're sitting here. I want to get into it and really talk about, you know, there's going to be stereotypical questions.
Yes.
You know there are.
Yes.
It's been answered many times, but not by Kylie Cox and not asked by me.
Like back in the day, drags were the ones who educated and passed on our history and our knowledge to the youngsters when we were on stage.
You spoke of the 1994 elections.
Yes.
And what people don't know.
Correct.
What the ANC and the DA, the NP back then,
the NP, correct, yes.
came to the queer community, right?
Correct.
And
we went to them actually.
Sorry,
yes.
It's other way around again. And you were, I'm still learning this. I heard the story, I loved it. Tell me actually what happened. What were they?
So obviously, you know, with the whole 1994 elections, you know, they surprisingly, the queer culture is quite large. You know, even though it was underground then,
sure.
It was quite a large culture. You know,
yeah.
And that culture had voting rights.
Yes.
You know, and obviously each political party now wanted those votes for their side. That would determine who would, you know, it would influence. I won't say it would determine, but it would influence who has the majority vote. What's
interesting is not that legalizing gay marriage is now suddenly is where we start our timeline, you understand? But the fact that they just literally at the death of apartheid, you understand what I'm saying to you? This type of stuff is like suddenly realized and it's like acknowledged and now let's come up with it.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of doing that as a throwaway statement. And you had to put forward?
Well, what happened is the LGBT community, there was 2 organizations involved. I cannot for the life of me remember the names right now.
Right.
It'll probably come to me later. You know, old age and all.
Okay.
And these communities basically were the voice of the LGBT, these support groups were the voice of the LGBT community.
Right.
And they went political.
Okay.
Our struggle was always political, because we wanted to be legalized and recognized.
Yeah.
You know, so with the 1994 elections, they actually put forward a case of, no, we want our rights.
Yeah.
We want to be acknowledged. We don't want to be criminalized for being who we are.
Yeah.
So
stop right there. So I'm so sorry, but criminalized.
All the bashings that happened in the clubs.
Yeah.
I mean. We have our own incident that happened many, many years ago in Forest Hill.
Yeah.
You know, it was an underground club, and basically the police had a raid there. Many LGBT community got beat up, arrested.
For what?
Because we weren't allowed to be in that setting by law. There was a law previously passed as well, thankfully it's gone, where I can't remember the exact details, but it was basically a certain amount of men can't be in the same space. Yes.
Okay, that brings us to the end of part 1, episode 3 of the LGBT representation, our walk with pride. Literally, I'm going to walk with pride. We decided to go out in public. It makes it sound so dirty, but drag queen or drag culture, should I say, is a night culture. It's part of an alter ego that men do have, and obviously they bring about a new character that has an entire different personality. It's foundated, it's about entertainment, it's about design and art and all that type of stuff. But what better way to just kind of do something different than to get into drag, right? Get them heels on, put on the fake booba, and get our wigs all hot, sweaty, and messy, and going out into a very conservative shopping mall and seeing how the reactions go. It wasn't meant to be like something kind of offensive, but I can tell you now, we broke some kind of record. We got in, we were asked to go out. I'm going to tell you anything more. It's really fun, just the whole experience with Kylie Cox, and that's happening in part 2. I will say, see you there.